when it comes to what is right and what is moral and what is just for all people, because of who we are, we shall not be moved. I have been personally inspired by Moral Monday movement, and you are like never before. Who would have thought that on April 29th, 17 of us would go in, 7 clergy, 10 citizens, representing the great tapestry and diversity of our state and nation, and we would engage in a moral act of civil disobedience over against extreme and immoral actions of the current state legislature, and a movement would be born. Who would have thought that following the banner of the NAACP, white people and black people and Native Americans and Asians in the South, never before in the history of South have 1,000 people been arrested for civil disobedience at a state capitol. Never before have there been 13 rallies integrated, representing the citizenry, all happening on one day. Yes, we went to the march on Washington in D.C., but in North Carolina, we did what Dr. King said. He said, go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. And the 941, we didn't represent ourselves. We represent those who dare to say in word and deed that the actions of this current General Assembly, the actions of the governor of our state at this time, they are constitutionally inconsistent and morally indefensible and economically insane. And your moral courage has given hope to hundreds of thousands of North Carolinians. Our regional director, he's meeting with folk who are talking about having Moral Monday in Georgia. Last night I got a text or email from Reverend Kojo. There's a group talking about one in Alabama. The Daily Tar Heel called and said, can you tell us about the Moral Monday breaking out in New York City? You have put a spotlight on injustice in this nation. The aim of the North Carolina NAACP is to have the monster voter suppression bill, which Governor McCrory signed in July, to be stricken from the books by the courts before November election 2014. And if the courts move slower than that, our goal and our fight will be that at least by 2016, we will end this monster voter lid. This is a fight we must fight and we must win. This morning, this state conference passed a resolution to engage in a campaign to expose the links between the state budget director, Art Pope, his financial propaganda, and backing of right-wing Tea Party ideologues. We're announcing that we will work with educational rights groups and other civil rights groups to file lawsuits challenging the deep cuts that the legislature, along with Governor McCrory, have made to our public education system in North Carolina. McCrory, Berger, and Tillis have set out to deconstruct and defund North Carolina's highly respected public school system and university. They want to take us backwards. But we are going to say yes to a principle that was put in the Constitution 145 years ago by blacks and whites, which our Constitution says this simply: in this state, every child has a constitutional right to a sound basic quality education. And we will take on anybody in court that tries to undermine that principle. Although the federal funds were readily available for extending unemployment insurance, which workers had paid their share as a part of the fruit of their labor, this extremist legislature, with Governor McCrory's quick approval, rejected the funds and cut them off. June 30th, 70,000 people lost their unemployment. December 31st comes and goes, and there is no outcry, there is no change. 100,000 more people will lose their unemployment. 500,000 people will be denied access to Medicaid. And some analysts say nearly 2,000 people a year will die. So as we approach the season of redemption, faith leaders at this convention have written a letter to the governor And then we're going to ask the governor to call not just a special session, but a special redemption session. To rescind these two anti-family, anti-children, anti-poor people pieces of policies that were driven through in the early weeks of 2013. And we're going to call on them to do it by December 20th. I think that baby that they always want to celebrate has something to do with redemption. I think somebody ought to say to leaders, you got to decide whether you're going to be on the side of Jesus or the side of Herod. It's time out for cute claims of allegiance to the Christ while you're killing the very people that Christ died for. And so we're calling for him by the 20th. And then, but on the 23rd, it's going to be tomorrow Monday at the state capitol. Jews and Christians and Muslim and brothers and sisters alike, because we will not allow our brothers and sisters to be crucified without a witness. We will not. We will not. Then finally, we've been building People's Assembly and gathering every February. This past year, 17,000. But this year, in light of the extremism, we're sending out the call, just like Dr. King said, come to Selma in 1965. We're saying come to Raleigh in 2014. You believe in good jobs? Come to Raleigh. You believe in good labor rights? Come to Raleigh. You believe in good schools for all? Come to Raleigh. You believe in good housing? Come to Raleigh. You believe in good health? Come to Raleigh. You believe in good voting rights? Come to Raleigh. If you believe that it's right to do right all the time and right now, come to Raleigh. So my friends, we demand that our state not forget its promise made in its Constitution. We demand that we not relinquish the hope that North Carolina be a state where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. We know we're in the South, the crucible of change, where hope has always had to be chiseled from the stone of despair. We understand that North Carolina is ground zero and the nation is looking at us. Because as the South goes, so goes the nation. This, my friends, is no small moment. We are committed to the principles of what is moral and what is just and what the Lord requires of every nation, of every state, of every people. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly before his God. So we are not confused. We're not schizophrenic. We are quite clear. We're clothed in our right mind. We know who we are. We believe, God help me here, that we've been born for this moment. Anybody that thought that difficulties would depress us, better look again. Resurrection always wins. Justice always wins. Love always wins. Courage always wins. So how are we going? We're forward by faith. We're living by faith. We're breathing faith. We're marching faith. We're praising God with faith because we know who we are. Faith is the substance. Things hoped for. The evidence. Things not seen. Somebody shout, I've come this far.